Seattle Seahawks report presented by Autolist. Looking for a new or used car but tired of browsing a million sites? Go to Autolist.com to browse the largest source of inventory on the web, or you can go ahead and download their top-rated mobile app for iPhone or Android. I'm Jordan Giorgio. Those were all your latest news and rumors out of Seattle, but it is now time to transition into the top 10 defensive free agents that the Seahawks can target this offseason. Coming in at number 10 on our list is defensive end Kerry Hyder Jr. from the Detroit Lions. With the uncertainty of Cliff Averill and Michael Bennett, Hyder would be a secure option for the Seahawks. Although he did miss all of the 2017 season with a torn Achilles tendon, he recorded 8 sacks for the Detroit Lions in 2016 when Pro Football Focus graded him at 77.2. He'll come cheap with a ton of potential. Hyder said last week that he's at the midpoint of his rehab, and while he's not quite running yet, he said, quote, he's extremely confident he'll return to the form he showed in his breakout season in 2016. Moving on to number 9, cornerback TJ Carrie from the Oakland Raiders. Oakland's defense was torn up all season long, but that wasn't necessarily Carey's fault. He racked up 70 tackles last season and was a solid in coverage, breaking up 9 passes last season, and he also showed some ability as a playmaker with 2 fumble recoveries. At 6 foot, 206 pounds, Carey has the size to match up with some of the league's biggest receivers, but he also has enough speed to cover the NFL's fastest deep threats. Carey wouldn't necessarily break the bank for the Seahawks, but he would be ultimately a good investment. Keeping it rolling here with our top 10 defensive free agent targets this offseason. At number 8, we've got safety Tavon Wilson from the Detroit Lions. This move would be a little Cam Chancellor injury insurance, possibly mixed with a little Earl Thomas holdout insurance, as he can play free safety as well. Wilson is coming off a relatively poor year with the Detroit Lions, but graded an 84.1 by Pro Football Focus in 2016. But since arriving in Detroit, Wilson has done well, starting in 25 of the 32 games, getting 142 total tackles, 4 pass deflections, 3 interceptions, 3 sacks, 2 fumble recoveries, and 1 forced fumble. Wilson suffered a shoulder injury during this past season, forcing him to miss the final 6 games. He should be one to come in relatively affordable and a good pickup for Seattle. Moving on to number 7 is defensive tackle Brent Urban from the Baltimore Ravens. Now, Urban was placed on injured reserve for the first month of the past season. In 4 years, though, with Baltimore, Urban has only played in 25 games, though his first 3 starts did come in 2017. Coming off a season ended by injury, Urban is probably looking at signing a 1-year minimum salary deal, which may include incentives that would pay him more if he can stay healthy and productive. So if the Seahawks are feeling risky, Urban would be one of their options. Next up at number 6 is safety Eric Reid from the 49ers. Reid suffered a knee injury early on in 2017 that kept him sidelined for multiple games. Reid finished the year with 66 tackles, 4 passes defended, and 2 interceptions. When it comes to Reid's market value, it's set at $8.6 million per season. Reid is perhaps one of the best players available in free agency who plays at the safety position. Reid is also one of the young players who has experience and has proven himself capable for performing at the high level in the NFL. The Seahawks are always looking for some younger options, and if Reid comes to Seattle, he will vastly improve this defense right away. Moving on into our top 5, we've got safety Lamarcus Joyner from the Rams. Joyner was transitioned from slot corner to starting safety this past season and transformed himself into a true difference maker on the Rams defense. He boasts excellent center field ability while also being capable of matching up one-on-one with slot receivers and tight ends. He's a tenacious tackler according to Pro Football Focus. In fact, he's one of the 2 safeties who didn't whiff on a tackle this year. Although it's certain he will look to land a big payday in the open market, but he would be worth the investment. At number 4, we've got cornerback Trumaine Johnson, also from the Los Angeles Rams. We talked about him in our rumors segment. At 6'2", Johnson is among the most physical corners in the league. His size allows him to excel in pressman coverage, which capitalizes on his strength and length. His 16 deflections were tied for 17th among corners last year, and while some say Johnson can get lost in zone schemes, he is still likely to get paid big bucks this offseason. Like I said in our rumor segment, with Marcus Peters heading to the Rams, Seattle could take a look at Johnson as a potential fit on Ken Norton Jr.'s new look Seattle's defense. If the Seahawks choose to keep Sherman, Johnson could still be brought in to start in a multiple defensive formations to provide an upgrade over Jeremy Lane. Overall, the addition of Johnson would make the Seattle Seahawks a better team in 2018, but it'll cost them. Taking it now to number 3, cornerback Malcom Butler from the New England Patriots. The need for the cornerback position is obviously a priority, especially if the Seahawks move on from Sherman. But even if they don't, Butler would be a legitimate playmaker across from him, something we haven't seen in a couple years. If Earl Thomas and Cam Chancellor can come back healthy, this could be a scary defense. Getting the financials straightened out would be a tough task after playing for only $3.9 million this past season. Butler will be looking for a big payday as well this offseason. However, with some negotiation, I'm sure the Seahawks can find the space as well. It will be worth it. Moving on to number 2, defensive end Adrian Clayborn from the Atlanta Falcons. With the uncertainty of Bennett and Averill, it's easy to understand the concern around this position's future. Finding a veteran defensive end to shore up the front four would be ideal for the Seahawks. Clayborn is coming off an outstanding season where he racked up a career-high 9.5 sacks. 6 of those came in one game. At 29 years old, he still has a few years left in him, and he shouldn't break the bank. And coming in at number 1 on our list of the top 10 defensive free agent targets for the Seahawks is cornerback Kyle Fuller from the Chicago Bears. Fuller had a strong season after a rocky start to his career with the Chicago Bears. He recorded 60 tackles, had 22 pass deflections, and 2 interceptions during 2017, which helped make up for a struggling 2016 season. Fuller is a lengthy, physical corner who is not afraid to be aggressive with receivers at the line of scrimmage, which is something Seattle wants in their corners. He also very may well come at a more discounted price than originally thought when he was a first-round pick in 2014. Fuller would be an upgrade from re-signing Byron Maxwell, but one way or another, the Seattle Seahawks must make upgrades at the cornerback position this offseason, and Fuller would be the answer. That was your Seattle Seahawks report. And make sure to go ahead and follow me at Jordan Giorgio on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. And while you're at it, go ahead and like Seattle Seahawks from Chat Sports so you get a notification every time we go live. But until next time, I'll see ya.